Part 2, Seeing Someone in Their Struggles. Chapter 8, A Blindness Epidemic. There is a lot of social breakdown and social isolation, as well as technological dehumanization. There is also much distrust that people are facing with one another, and a relational and spiritual crisis that is leading to feelings of isolation and suicide, unfortunately. People are spending a lot more time alone than in the past. People need relationships the most in life for their well-being, but they're not good at them, usually. When people feel invisible, they shut down socially, get paranoid, and are more easily offended. Maybe that's why so many people are so easily offended these days. And have you ever seen somebody who just stops answering their messages or disappears suddenly, goes into isolation? As a result, they feel self-doubt, which may make them feel trapped, I think. Some people have even become unruly and proud of their boisterousness. And societies with low trust fall apart eventually. People who feel unseen and ignored are drawn to politics, and this is an interesting point in the book that I hadn't considered before. Another main point of this book has to do with morals. The author believes that the problems of society come down to morals. People no longer see each other with respect, nor care about each other. People need a sense of direction and meaning in their lives, as well as social and emotional skills. Moral formation, or the emphasis on morals, started to fall by the wayside after World War II. Schools stopped trying to educate kids on treating others well, and were more focused on SAT scores. Chapter 9 focuses on difficult conversations, so there's an official and an unofficial conversation to each talk that you have with a person, which is about the ebb and flow, the comments, and the vibes of a conversation, and how respected the two people feel. One interesting point in the book is that a person should move the conversation back to their own frame, especially when the person they're speaking with is in pain or stressed in life. And that can make the other person feel unseen and unheard, and that's not what you want if you want to establish a connection with someone. The authors of Crucial Conversations, which is another book that I read, says that conversations are like air, since when there is respect, it just goes unnoticed. Nobody notices it, but when there's disrespect, everybody notices that. Also, labeling someone in a conversation is a way to discredit them and create conflict. So for example, if you label someone a loser or a whiner, or someone who complains a lot, that's a way to discredit them. Also, one key point in this chapter is that if you're respectful and curious in a conversation, most people will be receptive, kinder, and just more open to you and what you have to say. Chapter 10 is about friends in despair. If someone is depressed in your life, just be there for them. Chapter 11 is all about empathy. Babies need to feel seen, or they will be traumatized. They give out bids for attention. Every child wants to know that they are safe and loved, and seeks out those things. It was found that men with good relationships with their dads had better vacations and happier retirements. A bad childhood is like poverty, but a happy one sets a child up for a better adjustment throughout their entire lives. You can learn more about somebody's life models by asking them when they feel safe and what is most important to them in life. Defensive models are usually outdated models that somebody has from childhood when they're always on the defensive and they learned a certain way to defend themselves in childhood. And these models are often outdated because they help us in childhood, but they become obsolete by the time we reach adulthood. And this leads to intelligent people to do some dumb things at certain times. Empathy is also very necessary when someone is dealing with their childhood wounds or just their present struggles in life. Two people co-regulate each other's heart rates and vagal tone when the body feels safe and serene. Chapter 12 of the book talks about how one is shaped by suffering. So grief and suffering make people question who they are and whether the world is basically good. Good people and friends know how to accommodate someone while they're grieving. When people share their fears and troubles, they grow together and learn to overcome difficulties. It's also important to have mental flexibility So you can see an event from different perspectives, which may help you create a new future or new ideas. You may see a certain event in your life not as negative, perhaps, but as a new opportunity for you. Chapter 13 is about personality, so think for a moment about the energy you bring into your room. A wholesome society has people with many personalities that serve a purpose by allowing them to fill gaps and niches that each personality naturally grasps onto due to their unique and interesting gifts. The Myers-Briggs personality test isn't based on science, but the Big Five personality test is. The Myers-Briggs doesn't predict future happiness, nor how well one will do one's job. People who excel at thinking tend to be good feelers too. Isn't that interesting? You would think that if one is a good thinker, they're not a good feeler, and vice versa, but that's not the case. Extroverted people are easily excited, feel a calling towards positive feelings, and are motivated by rewards. They are warm, social, talkative, and gregarious. Extroverts are moved to a positive reward, not necessarily towards people, but they will move towards people if there's a reward with it. They also take significant risks and tend to get angry more easily. People high in neuroticism respond strongly to negative emotions, have more ups and downs throughout the day, and tend to interpret neutral events as negative. Conscientious people, on the other hand, have excellent impulse control and hardly ever procrastinate. Agreeable people tend to understand social situations, complexity, and have happier marriages. Bring to attention the traits you want your child to have, and don't punish them for traits you don't like. Personality traits are like gifts that can be built throughout life, and personality can change over time. Some developmental psychology has proven false since people develop across life, not just in adolescence. Life can be viewed as a series of tasks, though not everyone completes all the tasks, and not in the same order either. Imperial tasks involve taking agency and being good at something. Kids show the world that they are competent. If not, they can feel inferior, unfortunately. If you date a person with this mindset, the imperial mindset, they may be emotionally closed off since they haven't developed a higher mindset yet. When people reach the interpersonal task stage, they either become an intimate partner and a committed friend, or they just become isolated if they never reach this mindset and develop it fully. Well, that's it for the summary of how to know a person. I hope it has allowed you to think about how you conduct your own relationships and how you get to know people. Wishing you best of luck.